right, we're gonna watch Anthony Fantano's review of Whole Lotta Red now. Okay, so hopefully he posted on YouTube so we can actually see it. It's on Needle Drop, I believe. Let's go. Dunna. No. He gave it a 5 out of 10. Yeah. So I heard Anthony Fantano gave it a 5, and he's lying. That's all I gotta say.
Hi everyone. Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Playboy Carti album, Whole Lotta Red. This is the long-awaited sophomore album from one of the most beloved rappers in the game right now, Playboy Carti. It's only been a few years now, really, since Carti made his full mainstream ascent, striking gold with a subtly experimental and psychedelic brand of trap music on his Die Lit record. Personally, I wasn't really crazy about—
Damn, he's going in with— he definitely is a nerd. Not to hate on him, but yeah.
His breakout mixtape in 2017, nor was I impressed by the round of promo he got out of the XXL 2017 freshman class on which he was listed. But I gotta admit, everything he was doing around that time did set the stage for how minimal, visceral, and envelope-pushing this project was. Now, of course, the magic of Die Lit doesn't simply boil down to Carti's earworm, repetitive refrains, his infectious, baby-voiced inflections, because the consistent production from Pierre Bourne was also a significant part of the equation. However, on Whole Lotta Red, he seems to have mostly foregone Pierre's production, which I don't see as entirely a bad thing. Not just because—
Oh shit, this is for all you haters that are saying Pierre Bourne needed to be on it more, Richie Souffle needed to be on it more. I think it's perfect the way it is. Whatever Carti wanted to put on the album, he should have been able to do it. Now, Pierre Bourne, could he be on a Whole Lotta Red Deluxe more? Sure, but like this, it's not bad. Like Pierre's working on his own projects. Richie Souffle might have gotten like completely shafted, but yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing that Pierre Bourne wasn't completely— I think it kind of separates Carti from Pierre, because a lot of the times people say like Carti's nothing without his producers and he's nothing without Pierre, you know what I'm saying? So this kind of allows him, and same thing with Uzi. So like Uzi's been on every single project until Whole Lotta Red for Carti, self-titled, and then Die Lit. So this finally allows Carti to differentiate himself if he doesn't work with Pierre or like on more than 2 songs. Agreed, anyone?
Because Pierre's sound is so easily replicable, but also Whole Lotta Red should be an opportunity for Carti to branch out, try something different, not just record Die Lit Part 2. And boy does Carti branch out on this project, which is not only apparent from the subtly satanic cover art, but Carti's embrace of vampires and vamp aesthetics in the song titles here and the social media run-up to this project. Looks like—
And I think that's one of Carti's biggest strengths, to be honest, his aesthetic with the album. I think a lot of rappers nowadays, they'll drop albums and it's just the music. There's no like aesthetic or feeling to the album. I think the people that really truly engulf the fans and the whole brand with the album is like Travis Scott, Uzi with Eternal Atake, and then Playboy Carti. But I think Playboy Carti and Travis Scott really are the best at that, to be honest, like with the aesthetic. And like I think Carti actually, because he literally is a vampire. People are questioning his sexuality and his living, if he's even alive or if he's even satanic. People think he's like literally satanic, especially with the merch. So everything just is so cohesive.
Carti's bringing goth to the trap on this one with a punk flair, and while he wouldn't be the first to do that, he certainly seems to be one of the most prominent. And in my opinion, it's these very elements that drive the most exciting and interesting moments on this LP. But with that being said, though, part of me does feel like Whole Lotta Red does fall short, terribly short of its full potential. Due to not pushing things as far as it could have, and also sounding somewhat half-baked at points. It's worth reminding viewers that Carti ended up dropping this project over this past Christmas, so maybe the release ended up being a little too premature, especially since he was rumored to have redone the album quite significantly after numerous song leaks over the past year or so. The track list—
Well, we found out that Whole Lotta Red version 1 was never going to drop anyway, even if they were leaked from Red Pines. But Fantano does, I mean, most people don't know that. And we just found that out. So we got to give Dude a break.
This thing is also pretty bloated at 24 songs, making Die Lit's 19 seem trim by comparison, even though the runtimes between both records aren't significantly different. It's also got to be pointed out that Carti varies up his vocal style on this record quite a bit too. Not just during the moments of this LP where he's straining his voice or screaming, but there are numerous parts where he seems to have mostly abandoned the incoherent, infantile vocal inflections that he's known for, to the point where his bars are more crystal clear than they've ever been. Carti's new approaches on this record are generally refreshing. It's just disappointing when it doesn't seem like he has all of the kinks worked out. For one, Whole Lotta Red is undoubtedly a record that is abrasive by design, but there are some vocal mixes here that do leave a lot to be desired. Not just because...
Yeah, he was hating on some of the mixing like while he was doing the listening party.
Carti's voice occasionally comes off very pitchy and painful to the ear, but...
You know, I think that happened to us while we were listening to it the first time. Like, the vocals, even on like a Metamorphosis and everything, it almost like... You were like, what the fuck? Like, why does he sound like this? But it was... I think that's just the style. And there's no wrong answer in music. Like, it's all subjective, and I think that's why it is. So, I mean, I respect the dude's opinion. The mixing, like, with someone who's not a Carti fan, like, yeah, the mixing was trash. You know what I'm saying?
some tracks just don't feel that visceral because there's a lack of balance between the vocals and the instrumental, leaving the beat feeling like it really has no presence, which is especially true.
I would disagree.
Vamp Anthem, a track that I had high expectations for given the aesthetic change on this record, but it really just ended up being this very dry set of trap perks, which is aided horrendously.
Vamp Anthem was a fan favorite
that play out this laughably stereotypical vampire intro on the song. However, I will say occasionally this record's messy presentation does work in its favor. There is the insane stop breathing, which is so heavily
insane
compressed. Nearly every sound in the mix is crackling like a campfire, the result being one of the most deadly and cathartic tracks on the record, especially considering the murderous lyrics and gruesome vocal inflections and garish ad-lib.
Damn, dude, he did he script this? He's using his vocab is crazy, bro. He's like goddamn Jeff Bezos. He looks like Jeff Bezos.
Blah. On that
right after he goes
like, in my opinion, there's also the completely out of control jump out of the house, which is packed with this absolutely crushing bass and one demented vocal inflection.
Jump out of the house.
It seems like Carti is pushing some of those baby voiced vibes to a new and more experimental place to a degree. Then the track Punk Monk may feature one of the most distorted instrumentals on the entire LP.
Punk Monk.
This beat actually ends up being the foundation for a sobering moment of reflection.
Likely Trenches won't drop, by the way, for people asking in the chat, because there were like sampling issues, but we found that like a long time ago. And yeah, it's produced by Richie Souffle, so he told us that back in his Discord server, like a whole lot of producers, I think it's called. Yeah, that it had there's sample issues, so they can't clear it.
Carti, where he essentially starts listing out the various ways he has been mistreated, ignored, counted out, and betrayed in the music industry, naming names as well. There's one particular bar that stuck out for me where he says he's not friendly at all. He doesn't even want these other rappers on his songs. It's essentially an antisocial anthem, and the scant amount of features on this thing certainly reinforces that vibe. And
true. So Punk Monk honestly would not have made sense if he had Travis Scott, Pharrell, and Post Malone on his songs. Maybe, and this is just a theory, maybe his label wanted Post Malone and Travis Scott on his songs to like push the album more, and then he just put his foot down, was like, nah, fuck that, I don't want Travis Scott or Post Malone because it just doesn't fit like the whole vibe that he was trying to give off. Does that make sense to anyone? And so then he dropped Punk Monk, and you told them, he let them know.
Speaking of the features on this record, I think all of them bang. Kanye West on Go to the Moon sounds completely off of his rocker and That, my God, that Budapest line is like classic Kanye all the way. I also love the experimental string-backed beat that this track delivers too. My one major
I don't like Go to the
with it
Moon.
is that Cardi doesn't really have much presence on his own song. He kind of pops in, drops a few bars at the very end. Kanye and the beat.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. Go to the Moon was kind of Kanye's song. Y'all know I don't fuck with Go to the Moon. The beat just never drops. It's like a premature. It's like you're edging, bro. The producer just edged every single fan.
Both overshadow him. It just barely feels like a Cardi song to begin with. Then there's Kid Cudi on the track Metamorphosis, whose trademark hums layer harmoniously against an instrumental that sounds like it's sampled, I don't know, a part of the Castlevania soundtrack or something. Not literally, but the keys in this instrumental do make me feel like I'm playing some like 8-bit 2D scroller where I'm like shooting at or stabbing some ghosts and ghouls. Lyrically, this track is pretty focused for a Cardi song too, with him going into the personal and aesthetic changes he's undergoing in this recent album cycle. That's Metamorphosis. Then there's also Teen X featuring Future, where it seems like aesthetically Cardi is trying to extend the minimal, trippy trap sounds that he hit upon with Die Lit, update them in a way. He goes even more out there vocally, getting squeakier by the minute, while Future mostly matches his energy. And while there's nothing necessarily wrong with Cardi going back to what works for him on a new record,
with the baby voice,
there are points on this LP where I think he plays it a bit too predictable and also underwhelms with a supremely disengaged vocal performance. For one, I think he is really phoning it in on the song Place. The track even features a Pierre Bourne beat. If I had to put this one in a nutshell, I would say it's the soundtrack to Not Even Trying at All. A little later, the song Over
the thing is about Place that he doesn't realize is that Place is such an old song, like 2017 or 18. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but like that shit, the snippet leaked so long ago, so of course it's gonna sound like his old self. So it's not anything he recorded recently, so he couldn't really like improve because it was just recorded so long ago.
Similarly lifeless too. Meanwhile, the song Sky is a pretty straightforward drug anthem, but this vibe essentially puts Cardi in a place of emotional numbness. Weak beat choice too. This one does not present much of a vibe there.
Sky is like one of the top 3 songs on the album.
There are some compelling portions of the final leg, though, like the ambitious Feel Like Dying, which features a prominent Bon Iver sample.
Feel Like Dying.
Also Die For a Guy, where Cardi is reflecting on
I'ma die
his past,
for my guy.
his brother, Paranoia. But for the most part, this record really loses steam toward the end. I could keep going into the minor details.
No! Bro, I thought like, at least at the first listen, the second half of Whole Lotta Red was like more pop and like better, you know what I'm saying? Like it was the second half was fire. I'd say it was better than the first half. Am I right here? So I don't know what he's talking about. He's going the exact opposite of what my viewpoints are.
Details of this LP, more various flaws.
He's a lyrical type guy. Okay, so what? He's a lyrical type guy. So what? I'm going to Whole Lotta Red on Spotify right now, and I'm trying to figure out. The second half starts with New Neon, but Punk Monk is probably the most lyrical song on here, and that was in the second half as well. And I feel like the first half was more of the repetitive shit, but it did have Slayer and Beano, which are two of the more popular songs in the album. Slayer being the top song on Whole Lotta Red. Go to the Moon, Rockstar Mate. Yeah, I feel like those are the more repetitive songs rather than the more like melodic ones. I feel like the more alternative and like psyched out and whatever, those are the first half, and that's what he's talking about.
This point that Whole Lotta Red is very much all over the place. There are tracks that reinforce more of a vampire or a goth vibe. There are tracks that reinforce more of a Die Lit 2.0 vibe, or maybe even a Die Lit 000.1 vibe. There are...
Damn. I mean, yeah, I'd say Place and New Neon. I'd say those are like Die Lit 2 vibe. Maybe... Yes, I'd say the second half sounds like Die Lit 2, which I'm completely cool with, but I understand his point.
are also a few cuts that seem oddly derivative
with the beats, that is.
Contemporaries like Young Thug and Little Uzi Vert. There is some extremely safe, bland production on this thing that bores me to death. Meanwhile, the more experimental mixes only slap some of the time. So yes, this thing is a flawed record, and I can see why it's created such a split in Cardi's fan base. But that being said, though, the highlights here are so good, I can see the general attraction that some people are experiencing with this project. While I can't rate this record very high due to some apparent flaws, I wouldn't be surprised if this record created an almost 808s and Heartbreak type moment where, yeah, it's not a perfect LP, but the highlights are so bold and are so creative, they'll most likely be adopted by those who end up appreciating this record more for its ideas than its execution. And of course, there is always the chance for Playboi Carti himself to expound upon these themes on a future record, which hopefully ends up coming out sooner rather than later.
No way.
Decent, too strong.
He's not even dropping the deluxe soon. We don't even know when he's dropping that. Maybe like a couple months. I bet you he's still trying to promote that with Jimmy Fallon next week. It's the original album. But I don't even need a deluxe. I don't even care. All right, so he said 5. Decent.
One, Transition. Have you given this LP a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best. You're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like, please.
All right. And so what did this, what was a like to dislike ratio? All right, this ain't bad. I bet you his fans, 28K to 1.6K. I bet you most of his fans aren't Cardi fans anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Like if he trashed it, he probably would get way more likes if he trashed a whole lot of Red. So yeah, damn. You wouldn't mind if there was a deluxe, more songs? I mean, yeah, I'd be fine with the deluxe. Like more Cardi music to me is great. I'm so down for that. I just don't want him to be forced to do it. Deluxe would kind of ruin it, to be honest. We have so many songs, but some fans are just ungrateful. Facts. That's how I feel. I just don't want him to be forced to do anything, really. Because I am completely content with Whole Lotta Red. I'm still listening to it at the gym every day. Like, I don't need shit. I really don't. Okay, well, that's all I wanted to do for today. I think I'm going to be an affiliate after today, so I'll be able to have subscribers and donations and whatnot. Not that really matters to me that much because I got YouTube and whatnot. I don't really care about the money like that. I think tomorrow I'm gonna start trying to make some more regular videos again. I just wanted to experiment with Twitch, figure out what I was doing with it. And then I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna do regular YouTube videos. I might do some vlogs. I might, do some other concepts on YouTube, also posting the reactions from Twitch on YouTube as well. So don't worry, we're still getting everything. I'm just diversifying everything like a stock portfolio. So I'll see y'all later. Peace out, kind of people. Know what I'm saying?